Guys, we have a major problem. This whole situation is a nightmare. Yeah, this practically feels like a brand new bike right now. Ow! We actually have three pretty decently sized problems. Not only is my bike in absolute shambles on that box over there, this bike is far from being in one piece, and we're going on a holiday in a couple weeks, and while I have some ideas on places we want to actually ride, one thing I've found that every time we go on a vacation, we do a lot of planning, we have a great time, and inevitably we come back and someone goes, "Oh, well, did you hit this trail?" And we say no. And they're like, "Oh my God, you missed out. You should have done it." And so not only do we need to fix up our bikes, I want to know from you guys if we're missing anything on this trip. Before I get into the details of our trip, which if you guys pay attention, you probably already know where we're going, I do want to ask Sam a question because our workbench is an abject nightmare. And that looks like a really expensive shock that's not in one piece. What are you doing?
Well, this is the trip, right?
It's the trip.
So I'm giving the absolute overhaul to everything. I stripped the frame completely down, all the way to the bushings. I ended up only replacing one bushing. This one in the main pivot was feeling a little gravelly. So replaced one bearing, everything's back together now. Bottom bracket was completely seized on the non-drive side, so it's a brand new bottom bracket.
He's not being dramatic. The bottom bracket was not moving.
Yeah, completely seized. Full bleed on the brakes. So we're going to get new pads, new rotors, rebuilding the Vivid. The fork's getting rebuilt right now.
Wait. You're rebuilding the Vivid yourself. This is a 125-hour service that you're doing yourself?
Yeah.
And how many times have you done this?
None. But it's right here on my phone, you know?
Oh, yeah. Guys, we have all of the knowledge at our fingertips. I, like a lazy and discerning, intelligent woman, actually worked with Fox to have them do all of my mid-season service. I need to put my bike together as well. Again, the details here, right? But Sam's park bike is in pieces. My park bike is in pieces. Where would one want to go to have not only the freshest, but nicest, highest performing park bike that one could have? We're going to Whistler, baby. Let's go. Okay, so story time on Whistler and why this is actually a very important trip. I've never been to Whistler. Sam has also never been to Whistler. And I think most mountain bikers can agree that Whistler, Squamish, Pemberton, British Columbia, in and of itself is a little bit of like a pilgrimage for mountain bikers. I think some people would argue it's the birthplace of mountain biking. For, flow hos like us, there's iconic trails like A-Line and Dirt Merchant that we cannot wait to hit. Now, why have we never been to Whistler? We're like the world's most like fangirly type mountain bikers ever. Last year, we were gonna go around this time, but the interesting thing about July every year is that's when I get really, really confident and start taking ridiculously calculated risks. I broke my leg literally like 3 weeks before we were supposed to go to Whistler. So as you can imagine, we canceled that trip last year. Very disappointed. Felt very, very bad for myself. Boo-hoo. Cue 369 days later, and we are on our way to Whistler again. But yeah, I mean, Whistler's a really exciting trip for me. There's obviously the big trails, right? And the bike park, first off, is what I'm initially most excited for. I've dreamed since I was an impressionable young girl of riding A-Line, of sending crabapple hits, of doing the huge step down to step up on Dirt Merchant. So I'm really, really stoked for that. We've also been doing a lot of recon though in like Squamish and Pemberton and just like the general areas around there because we want to do some really, really good like slab riding as well. And I don't know, for those of you who haven't been to Whistler and haven't really looked at this, like the maps there are insane. There's like a million trails, a million miles of trail, and every trail system is this like garbled mess. And so we've been doing a large amount of YouTube reconnaissance, as many discerning mountain bikers would do, to say like, okay, what are the best trails that we're looking at, right? And like there's obvious ones, right? Like Squamish has Garanga. Like I would love to go see the slabs on the end of Garanga and see if I can actually ride those types of things. There's In and Out, right? That massive iconic slab kind of at the top of that trail that shoots you straight into a forest. But like one of the questions I have for you guys is, have any of you been to these areas? And knowing kind of what Sam and I really like to ride, what you guys would consider like a do not miss trail? And I'm gonna like take every consideration into account, right? Like whether it's a big epic ride, whether it's a super cool trail at the bike park, or maybe even just like a chill trail that gets us to a really pretty outlook. So I'd be curious to see, what is your guys' like do not miss trail in the Whistler, Pemberton, or Squamish area? Instead of actually being helpful, I'm gonna go do something else, but could you guys just watch Sam and make sure he does this rebuild correctly? Okay, thanks. Enough of this delaying. I'm going to go through the humiliation ritual of trying to get my old downhill casing tires off of my wheels. This is the current state of my front tire. Like, it definitely needs to be replaced. Like, these are kind of starting to peel up. Holy shit, that was actually really easy. That's like literally never come off that easy before, so boom. I realized that was time-lapse magic, but that only took me 5.5 minutes. I just need to put sealant in here and actually get it seated. Basically, professional tire changer. You didn't actually think I was gonna do all this bike stuff in one day. I literally just got back from a ride because riding to fixing ratio is important. Onto my bike now though. I wanna take apart this linkage. You'll notice it's missing a shock, so we will put the shock back in, but I do wanna take apart some of these main linkages to just make sure the bearings look good. I haven't looked at them for about a year. I am also gonna look at my headset bearings, which are actually already taken out of the bike, which are, you know, somewhere else in my highly organized mess. I literally think it's right there. So anyway, I'm gonna inspect my bearings, make sure everything's running smooth, and decide if I need to replace anything. Let's go. Boom, not bad. We're all put together on the back end at least. I am going to keep an eye on that bearing that I said was seizing up. We cleaned it and it started moving better, but that's probably going to be the first one to go that we'll have to replace. It's an interesting thing to look out for on your bike, because if you start feeling like maybe like your shock is feeling weird or like your suspension is just feeling weird, it might actually be a bad bearing. So checking your bearings and changing them out does make your bike feel brand new. Everything feels good on this for me right now though, so I'm not replacing any. Let's get the fork on. This whole situation is a nightmare. Let's fix it. And that's the magic of editing. That is one freshly rebuilt bike. Now all we have to do is actually ride it. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, yeah. That definitely feels good.
Oh yeah.
We're at the bike park, baby. All right, before I do ride though, I do need some coffee. Dark roast, please. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, now we're gonna have some good laughs. That's a cool bike. I like that bike. Look at the linkage, is sick. That's a really sick bike, dude. Oh, fresh tires are unmatched. Yeah, this practically feels like a brand new bike right now, so I'm gonna make sure my shock settings and fork settings still feel good. So I'm not gonna go too bananas. But new bike, kudos, feels good. Oh yeah, feels good. I did up the rebound on my shock before I did all this maintenance. And I'm wondering if everything's moving a bit cleaner, because I did have that seized bearing. I'm wondering if I'm actually gonna wanna maybe put my rebound down again. But we'll see. I think I'm gonna want to. It's a little squirrely, but also might want to give it more time. Yeah, that feels good. It's so complicated how like much of a system a bike is. It's so tough to be like, oh, you know, I don't like this linkage, or I don't like the reach, or the chain, the chainstay. Like, it's like, dude, there's so much.
Tires, wheels, pressure,
Brakes.
fork.
Is it aluminum? Is it
pressure.
carbon? Are you riding aggressive today?
Yeah, it's such a system.
It's really complicated.
Everything changes everything else, and you have to accommodate. Oh, this looks way better. A lot has happened in the past 2 weeks, which for us is a very long time to be away from the park. And I feel super odyssey. My God, these are good. Today we're really testing my ability to follow instructions. Will this shock stay together now that I did my own service? I mean, I feel pretty good. Like, I'm like decently well-versed bike mechanic, but
I was expecting that berm to be better. Honestly, after these weeks. I thought it got worse.
but there's still always the opportunity for me to make a mistake. The one thing I struggled with was getting the last O-ring in place for the outer air can. There's 2 grooves, one for the clip that secures everything, one for the O-ring. And I did not realize that. Kept putting it in the clip one, and it couldn't get the air can on. Woo! Ah! God, I love hitting jumps. I feel like hitting jumps is the best part of mountain biking because it's so difficult and so high consequence, even on the small ones, that it gives you such an adrenaline rush in addition to just like the fun of soaring through the air. But every time you hit a jump, like, you need to be on, and that's just so cool. The consequence combined with just the thrill.
I have been riding relatively steep head tube angles this summer, actually, with all the endurance and big mountain stuff we've been doing. So it feels good to get back on a slacker bike. Babe, I dropped my chain.
Well, you don't need it on there.
Well, I would have preferred to pedal up into the second one so you can get a big old booter, but you know, it is what it is. All right, we found Greg, one of the head trail builders, heading into fire. Whoa! Woo! Yeah, boy. Woo! She dusty. She dusty. Oh no, my shot got all dusty. Yeah, doggy. All right. What did we do, kids? I don't know what we did. Dude, I took that inside line so sporty and then overcorrected and yeeted over the top of the berm. Yeah. Oopsies.
A little dusty.
Ready? Kobe.
Nice.
That's spicy. Dude, that's my delusional confidence coming into play to be like, obviously I'm as good of a rider as you are. Because you guys took that mega high line on that berm, and it resulted in me dropping into the berm early, so I took an inside line and overcorrected and just ramped over the berm.
Oh yeah. I usually
Oh man.
It's like to ride a long bike.
Dude, I was literally just saying that on our first lap or our second lap. I was like, we've been on steep bikes so much. I was like, we've been riding steep head tube angles. I'm like, I need to remember to put my weight forward. Yeah, I didn't remember.
So low to the ground, so aerodynamic. Wow. Here comes the big one. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Woo. Oh shit! Oh, we're accelerating.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There you have it. One completely dusty bike. Actually, two completely dusty bikes.
You can see the little excess grease everywhere picks up all the dust.
Oh, you did a bad job of cleaning up your bike.
I mean, it's gonna be there.
Everything's running pretty good. I am going to slow rebound down on the shock a little bit. I do still have to change my brake pad, so I will be doing that ASAP. Otherwise, that was a pretty wonderful way to test a fresh rebuild.
Sick day.
Until next time, guys.